My name is Jeff Anderson, and I am one of the lawyers for this very courageous survivor that filed this lawsuit today, this morning, against the Diocese of St. Cloud, and also against this offender, Mike Weber. This is actually a picture of him years ago when he was a deacon. This is a picture of him that has been taken more recently. He lives in Minneapolis, and he received a copy of the lawsuit, was served with it this morning. We're here also with the courageous survivor who is living out of state, but is on the speaker phone and listening and participating in this event today. And his name is not made or identified in these papers. His first name is Terry, and he's going to identify himself that way to you, as have I. And obviously what brings us here today is that this courageous survivor, now an adult man, 47 years old, was abused as a child by a trusted then cleric, deacon, authority figure, Michael Weber. And what brings us here years after the abuse is effectively the cover-up of it. And the failure of the diocese officials and those in a position of trust and authority to act and to do what should have been done in 1970, in 1969, and in 1968. And that is report it to the people that could have done something about it, that would have done something about it in the late 60s, that is the police. But instead, after the abuse by this then trusted authority figure was made known to diocese officials through the Catholic Charities, they chose to keep it secret. They chose to take a gamble and take a risk. And the risk was that other kids could be hurt. But they chose instead to protect their reputation. And so it's heartbreaking to know that Terry was abused by this man at the age of 6. And it's even more heartbreaking to know now, and for him and us to have learned that at least one report had been made before that. And it's even more heartbreaking to again be reporting that nothing was ever done with that information. And this has been kept secret, this has been concealed, and this has been kept quiet by the diocese officials to protect their reputation and to protect their image instead of protecting the kids. Another part of this that's disturbing, not only the underlying abuse of multiple kids, but that Weber himself is such a prominent member of this community. The Weber himself, because this was concealed, because it was kept secret, because he was allowed to continue, and while he was removed from his diaconate in 1972 or thereabouts, he continued to prosper, and he continued to occupy positions until recently. He was CEO of Volunteers of America. And he was the associate director and the executive director of the National Committee to Prevent Child Abuse. He was the director of the program for the Community Protection of Children, a program of the Chaplain Hall Center for Children in the University of Chicago. And he was the president and chief executive officer of Volunteers of America. And he was the president of the National Association of Public Child Welfare Administrators. It's disturbing to think that all these years, because of this concealment and because of the choices made to allow this guy to have access to these kids and then to cover it up and to conceal it, that he has rose to such prominence and stature in what is supposed to be the child protection movement. Okay, Terry, I'm going to ask you then to tell us what you'd like to today and or the reasons why you chose to sue Weber and the diocese.
Okay. Thank you, Jeff, and thank you to all the people in the from the news. My name is Terry, as was discussed, and I am 47 years old, and I currently live in Alexandria, Virginia. I grew up in the St. Cloud, Minnesota area. In approximately the summer of 1970, when I was 6 years old, I was sexually abused by Mike Weber. Mike Weber has been and was the subject of a listening session scheduled by the St. Cloud Diocese at Holy Spirit Church in St. Cloud, Minnesota. I attended that listening session on December the 4th. It is my sincere desire that Michael Weber be held responsible for his crimes and that those who covered up his crimes be held fully accountable. I have chosen to file a lawsuit using just my first name so that others will know that they can come forward and have their privacy protected. By speaking publicly regarding Michael Weber's sexual exploitations, I hope to lessen the burdens that I have felt, the burdens carried by my parents and my siblings, and the burdens carried by Weber's other victims and their families. And I also would like to just note that hopefully that this can save some other kids from having to go through the same thing. And that's it.
Terry, thank you. We are sorry you have had to carry the burdens that you have for as many years as you have, but as I said to you before, and I'll repeat again, grateful to you and every other survivor that breaks the silence and takes some action, and also for choosing to use your first name, but also letting other survivors know out there that we in the law is protective of identities of survivors, and they can come forward. They can come to law enforcement. They can get help. They can take action, and their identities and their privacy does not have to be known and or violated. And you, Terry, speak to that helpfully and powerfully. Thank you.